The day my husband planned a surprise party for my birthday, and I cried in the bathroom because I realized he had never once listened to a single thing I said. There were 30 people in my living room when I walked through the door. Balloons, streamers, a cake with my name on it, everyone screaming surprise, and I stood there in my coat with my keys still in my hand and felt something I was not prepared for. Not joy, not the overwhelmed, grateful feeling you're supposed to have. Something closer to grief, moving through me quietly while I smiled and hugged people and said, "Oh my god, I had no idea." I hate surprise parties. Daniel knew that. I had told him twice, specifically in actual conversations where I used those exact words. I hate surprise parties. They make me anxious. I don't like being caught off guard in front of people. He had nodded both times. He had said, "Yeah, totally." I get that. There were 30 people in my living room. I made it 2 hours before I told him I needed a minute and locked myself in the bathroom. I sat on the edge of the tub and listened to the party happening on the other side of the door and tried to figure out why I was so close to crying. Because it was a nice party. It genuinely was. He had called my friends, ordered from my favorite restaurant, remembered the flower arrangement I had pointed at once in a magazine. He had put real effort into it. That was not the problem. The problem was what the party proved. Daniel is a good man. I want to be clear about that because the story isn't about him being a villain. It's about something quieter and in some ways harder than that. He is warm and funny and generous, and he loved me loudly and in ways everyone around us could see. But for 6 years, I had been telling him things. Small things and large things, things about who I was and what I needed, and he heard them the way you hear a television in another room. Present, but not really registering. Background noise. I hate surprise parties. I had told him. I don't like celebrating my birthday at all, actually. The attention makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather just a quiet dinner, just us maybe. I told him that too. I can't eat gluten. Told him that 3 years ago. There was a beautiful cake on my kitchen table with my name written in gold, and I could not eat a single bite of it. I sat on the edge of that bathtub, and I thought about how many times I had said things into what I thought was a conversation, but was actually just air. How many times I had shared something real about myself and watched it not land. Not because he was cruel, because I had never been the kind of person he thought to truly pay attention to. He paid attention to the idea of me, the version of me that existed in his head, who liked surprises and cake and 30 people in the living room. That woman had a great birthday. I came out of the bathroom and finished the party. I hugged everyone goodbye. I told Daniel it was wonderful, because in its own way it was, and because I didn't have the words yet for what I was actually feeling. We cleaned up together, and he was so happy, so genuinely proud of himself, that I just let him have it. But that night I lay awake next to him, and I thought about 6 years. About how well I knew him. His fears, his patterns, the specific way he got quiet when he was overwhelmed, the things that made him feel small that he'd never say out loud. I knew him completely. And I thought about how he would describe me to a stranger, what details he would reach for, and I realized with a clarity that was almost physical, that most of them would be wrong. Not lies, just the version of me he had decided on early and never updated. I didn't blow up my marriage over a surprise party. That's not what this is. What this is the moment I understood that being loved loudly is not the same as being known. That someone can throw you a party with all the right flowers and all the wrong details and mean every bit of it and still have been looking past you for years. I started talking more after that. Not fighting. Talking. Saying things, and then watching to see if they landed, instead of just assuming they had. Some of them did. Some of them didn't. That work is still happening, and I won't pretend it's easy. But I will never again sit on the edge of a bathtub at my own birthday party wondering if the person on the other side of the door actually knows who I am. I deserve to be known. I still do. We all do.